Hi, it's Remy and welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you how to get your trip ready to go to the Lofoten Islands and how to get your photography equipment ready for it. So I'm gonna share with you everything from how to arrive there, the road state, the weather you will get there, the camera equipment you might need, and the clothing that you might need that you didn't think about. There is a lot to talk about, so let's get to it. I was initially planning to do another video, but last week the weather got completely crazy. There were like wind gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour. I tried to record a video and it was just nearly impossible. The camera kept falling, the tripod would not hold, the microphone would not record properly because of too much wind. There was as well a lot of snow, so like conditions were pretty damn intense. So I decided to do another video where I'm sharing with you some useful tips. So in case you're planning to come with a tour or with a workshop, then you might want to skip to this time here and go directly to the camera equipment and the clothing equipment. But if you're interested in knowing a little more about the Lofoten Islands, then just stay here. So before we go any further, let's take a quick look at where are the Lofoten Islands. So the Lofoten Island is a small archipel which is in the north of Norway and which extends from about Leknes, which is the main city around here, until Å, which is the last city you can reach before the sea. So this is about a 60 kilometers drive, which is pure joy. Like there is no other word for that. And you can visit all the places on the way. There are 3 ways to arrive in the Lofoten Islands. So the quickest is to fly directly to Leknes. You will have some few changes and end up flying with a smaller plane until Leknes. The second way is to travel to Bodo. So you can take a plane until Bodo and then take a ferry that will drive you until Moskenes, which is a city in the south of the Lofoten Islands. And from there you can either take a bus to get to Leknes to pick up your car or rent a car directly from Moskenes. And the third way is to fly much more north to a city called Tromsø, which is here. Rent a car from there and drive until the Lofoten Islands. So this might not look very practical and a little scary because of the distance, but you will enjoy an amazing trip until the Lofoten Islands. So this might actually be very interesting to do. There is one more way to travel in the Lofoten Island, is to use a motorhome, a camper van, or come with your own car. But this is a very long way. I came here from France until the Lofoten Islands. It took me about a week at 500 kilometers a day. It was about like 3,000 kilometers. So it was a long way. So I would not really recommend it if your time is short. So how to move around in the Lofoten Island? The best way is to rent a car and to have the flexibility to drive wherever you want with your car. You could possibly look for bus, but I guess there is only 1 or 2 buses going every day from Leknes to Å, and that's fairly difficult to catch them and to manage your time with only 2 buses. So I would just rent a car and move around with a car. Now, if you rent a car, you can get an SUV, a small car, or even a 4x4. So I would not see really the usefulness of renting a 4x4. I would go with a SUV or a small car. As long as they are equipped for winter drive, you will be totally safe. Roads are in very good conditions, and actually even when it's winter time and there is a lot of snow, you will be able to drive fairly safely as long as you're cautious enough. About the road state, it can be intimidating. When you're driving during the winter in the Lofoten Islands and there will be a lot of snow, the roads will be covered with a layer of ice. And this layer of ice will basically be sufficient to keep you the grip while you're driving. And this grip is actually possible because of the studded tires that you will have on your car. So if you rent a car, make sure you have studded tires if you're not too comfortable driving even with winter tires. I am driving with winter tires here. I'm totally fine because I'm driving very safely, slowly, and I'm careful on the road. But better to be safe than sorry. So ensure you have studded tires. In general, it comes as a standard. Now, the weather in the Lofoten Islands. The weather can be challenging here. There can be the 4 seasons in one day, meaning wind, sun, rain, snow. You can pretty much have everything in the course of one day. There can be a lot of wind. Last week there were like wind gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour, and it was like a bit difficult at times. Being outside when it's like this, it's really not so fun. But still, that's part of the experience. So as long as you're ready for it and you know it, then you're gonna be fine. The temperatures are actually quite okay too. They go from about -5 to +5 degrees in winter time. The winter runs from, let's say the winter when people can come here runs from end of January until, I would say, early April. I always heard that there is snow until early April. We are now beginning of March and there has been a lot of snow in the past 2 days, so I believe it's possible to have snow until April. About the accommodation, you might want to look at Airbnb or Booking or any similar website while you are looking for an accommodation. You will find plenty of stuff, especially at this period of the year. Or you can be with your motorhome or your camper van like I did and like I saw so many people doing. So in this case, it's fairly easy to find parking spots and stuff like that around the island. The only challenge is to refill water, to dump grey water, to dump black water. This is a little more difficult, but you always find a way here and there. That's pretty much it for the weather situation and how to organize yourself around the island. Now, let's go to the camera equipment that you might need. First thing first, bring a DSLR or a mirrorless camera which is weather resistant. This is better because there is a lot of sand, a lot of rain, snow, wind. You better be safe and bring such kind of device. For the lenses, I don't have any weather sealed lenses. I don't really have any issue with this. I traveled all over the world and never had problems, so let's keep finger crossed, and normally that should be fine. About the lenses, you should bring a wide angle lens, an ultra wide angle lens. And this is the one I'm using the most, maybe about 80% of the time. I use it a lot because here in the Lofoten Islands, there are like very interesting foregrounds that you can use, and with close backgrounds, mountains, subjects that you can capture easily with such kind of lens. So that will be your best ally during this trip. Now, the second best ally that you will have, and especially in winter time, this is a small lens to capture the auroras. So bring a lens that has a wide angle and that opens wide. This is a Samyang 12mm f2.0. It opens at f2.0, which is amazing to capture night skies. I really use it each time I'm shooting the sky. It's a good value. Night photography is not my main photography style, so I don't break the bank with this one, and it takes fairly good pictures. You can look for it. I know it exists for Fuji, I know it exists for Sony. I'm not sure about other brands, but for sure you will find something that suits you. But really, bring one lens like this. That would be amazing for you. The next lens I'm using is the XF 18-55mm, which must be equivalent to 24 to 70mm on full frame. This is a mid-range lens that I use when I do slightly different compositions, when I need to get a little closer to my subject, when I get a slightly more intimate scene. I use it a little bit, not most of the time, but this is an helpful one. The last lens that you could bring, but this is not a mandatory one to be honest, this is a telephoto lens. I use my telephoto lens maybe 5% of the time, maybe less. I took like a couple of photographs over the past week and a half now, and it's very helpful if you want to really capture very intimate scene, very detailed from a scene, maybe sometimes some structures, some interesting patterns that you might have on the ground on the beach here. There are a lot of them, so that can be a helpful one. But honestly, if you don't have one, it's okay. You will manage it. With the other lenses, you will be able to do most of what you need to do here. So don't worry about this. Next items that are like really helpful here. Filters. First filter, the CPL filter. That's a helpful one if you're shooting close to water and there are like interesting things underneath the water. Like for example, the eye of the dragon. This is a case where you can use a CPL filter. This one is very helpful, so don't forget it. The two other filters that I'm using, I don't use a lot of filter in general, but here I do use them a little bit. This is like ND neutral density 10 stops and ND filter 3 stops. I use them when I do long exposure. So I would rather have 3 of them, one 3 stops, one 6 stops, and one 10 stops, so that I can pretty much shoot all along the day without having any problems with exposure or increasing my ISO on my camera. But those 2 filters do the job for now. Next piece of equipment, and this one is really important. A sturdy tripod. Without a sturdy tripod, you might struggle a lot here in the Lofoten Island. The weather is really challenging here, and having a tripod that holds your camera and that doesn't move when you're shooting, and even if you're getting closer to the water to shoot and you want to have your tripod which is still stable when the water comes to it, then you will be fine to have this one. So this one is a Lofoten 365C. It's a carbon one. It's 2.3 kilos with the head, and it really does the job. So I definitely enjoy having that one. Next one, and this is also a very important piece of equipment. Bring a cleaning kit. A dust blower and a brush pen will be extremely useful for you here. There's a lot of wind, a lot of sand, a lot of snow and rain, and using this stuff will really help you keep your gear clean. Also bring some wipes, because when you are shooting close to the water, you can clean either your lens or your filter, and this will really help you take better pictures without having to reprocess everything or even wasting your photographs. And now, last but not least, bring a drone, if you have one, of course. A drone will help you to get amazing sceneries. Either you're taking photographs or even some footage. They will really be amazing. The place is really great for this, and well, there is nothing that can beat a view from bird's eyes. But beware, because there are a lot of wind here, and sometimes taking it out with a lot of winds might be risky, and you might not see your drone again. So be careful, keep it close to you when there is a lot of wind, so that you're sure you can bring it back fairly easily. So that was it for the camera equipment. Now let's talk about the pieces of clothes that you might need but didn't really think about. The first time I came to the Lofoten Islands, I made some pretty huge mistake in my opinion, coming here without some of the right equipment. And to this day I still regret it. Luckily I came back here, but that might not be the case of everyone. That's why I'm recording now this, and I want you to really take good care and listen to what I'm telling you here, because every piece of equipment I'm going to tell you here is really important. The first thing is get yourself a raincoat, like something windbreaker and raincoat. So that can be a Gore-Tex, that can be whatever. I don't have a Gore-Tex because because I don't have a Gore-Tex, that's it. But I do have a North Face jacket, which is a dry vent, I think that's the name. It's very useful. I use it in combination with my down jacket. So that's a winter down jacket, which goes up to down to minus 15 degrees. It's a very helpful one and very warm. And if I combine both of them, warm and dry, so that's the perfect combination. The first time I came here, I brought only a winter jacket, like a skiing jacket, which was not sufficiently waterproof, and I still have it. I still use it from time to time, but I don't take it out when it's raining or snowing too much, because then the water is not waterproof. The jacket is not waterproof enough. Really, do get yourself layers. That's really important. So get yourself a warm layer, a down jacket, and a waterproof jacket. That's the first thing that you should really think about. The second thing, and I think that's the biggest mistake I made the first time I came in the Lofoten Island. I had winter boots, but I had winter boots that were only partially waterproof. So this time around, I came equipped with the right thing. So I got myself some rubber boots. And this is the best piece of equipment I brought with me in terms of clothing here. When I'm doing some long exposure, I can go into the water, put my feet in the water and not get wet. They are like, not sure if you can see, but they are with some fur inside, so they keep me warm and I'm definitely not cold, and I'm dry once again. So this is definitely one of the best pieces of equipment you can get. And I know it takes space, it takes weight, but trust me, this is something you won't regret. The next piece of equipment that I didn't bring with me the first time, and that I should have, is that one. This is, okay, you can't really see what it is, but this is a rain trouser. And this is definitely a useful one. The rain trouser helps you when, of course, it's raining, even when it's snowing a lot. At least it keeps you dry, even with your winter clothes. Where it's useful as well, it's when you're doing long exposure with your feet in the water. You put this one above your boots, and basically when you have some waves coming in and that are slightly bigger than the normal ones, instead of having water going directly into your boots, then this one will help to prevent this effect and you will stay dry. So really, this is a very helpful piece of equipment. You should really get yourself one. The last equipment, crampons and spikes. These are the spikes. So these spikes will be helpful for you when you will be in the city, when you will be walking around. It can be frozen on the ground, and you might have some need for this one in order not to swift. So if you can't get yourself a pair when you're in your home country, then just get yourself one. Here in the Lofoten Island, they are selling them. You can buy some. And the other one that you could get, but this is slightly more extreme, these are the crampons. So I'm trying to get them out. I haven't used them yet, but these are literally crampons. Not sure if the camera wants to. Yeah, you have the crampons here, and this will be helpful for you if you're planning on doing a little more hiking and going up the mountain. And if I mention them, is because the first time I came, I wanted to go up to Rheinenbringen, and I was 3/4 up to the top, but unfortunately it was all frozen and I didn't have any crampons or spikes, and that would have been really dangerous to go any further. So I came back and I decided not to go this time. But this year I'm planning on going. Next week the weather will be better, so hopefully I can make it. And I'm going with this because I want to make sure that I don't miss the top this time around. So that's pretty much it for the clothes equipment that you might not have thought about. Of course, you should always bring like your warm clothes, normal warm clothes like warm socks, warm trousers, your gloves, making sure that you've got gloves that are like at least keeping you as well dry and warm, making sure of all of this. And once you have all of this, you should be good to go and you will be ready to photograph amazingly in the Lofoten Islands. Alright, so I hope that you enjoyed and that you found this video very useful. In case I forgot something, or if you think that something will be helpful for other people, feel free to let us know in the comment section below. That would be amazing. And if you like the content I'm creating and if you want to follow more of my adventures, then click on the subscribe button below, and if you like the video, of course, then give me a thumbs up. That would be amazing. In the meantime, I hope that you enjoy your trip when you come to the Lofoten Islands, and I see you next week.